Right now, billions of people are living on this planet. Cars are honking, phones are buzzing, lights are glowing in cities around the world. Now imagine, all of it just stops. No warning, no explanation. Every human being gone. The coffee's still warm, traffic lights keep changing, but nobody's left to see them. What happens next? Not next year, not next century. The next hour, the next day, the next 10,000 years. This is the story of a planet learning to live without us.
The first thing to go isn't nature, it's power. Most power plants rely on human operators, automated systems, and a steady supply of fuel and electricity. Without people, many facilities would begin shutting down within hours or days. Some systems would fail safely. Others could develop serious problems before eventually going offline. Underground, it's a different story. Cities like New York rely on hundreds of pumps to keep subway tunnels and other underground spaces from flooding. The moment those pumps stop, groundwater starts moving in. By the end of the first day, parts of the underground world could already be filling with water.
Not every disappearance is peaceful. Inside millions of homes, pets wait beside empty food bowls. Some dogs might escape through broken doors, open gates, or damaged windows. Cats, with their hunting instincts and ability to survive on their own, may adapt faster. Farm animals face an even harder fate. Chickens trapped in commercial barns and cattle confined to feedlots could die quickly without food, water, or human care. But animals living in open pastures, they have a chance. They break through fences. They spread into the countryside. And over time, some begin living wild again. Nature doesn't wait for permission. It simply moves back in. Give it 1 year, and something remarkable begins happening in cities around the world. Weeds push through cracks in sidewalks, vines climb brick walls. Without lawnmowers and maintenance crews, parks begin turning into dense patches of vegetation. Office buildings, once sealed and climate-controlled, are now exposed to the weather. Windows break, rain gets inside, temperature changes weaken materials. And where water goes, mold, rust, and rot follow. Bridges are even more vulnerable than they look. Many require regular inspections, repairs, painting, and maintenance to prevent corrosion and structural damage. Within decades, some smaller structures could begin to fail. The city isn't simply dying, it's transforming. And now, nature is the architect.
Within just a few years, animals that once avoided humans could begin reclaiming territory. Deer move through abandoned neighborhoods, coyotes roam empty streets, wild boar tear through yards and parks. In some regions, wolves could return to places they haven't occupied in generations. We don't have to imagine this completely from scratch. We've already seen a version of it. After the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster, large areas of Ukraine and Belarus were evacuated. Humans disappeared from much of the region. Wildlife didn't. In fact, many species have established thriving populations there. Wolves, deer, wild horses, lynx. The Chernobyl exclusion zone isn't a perfect model for an Earth without humans. But it gives us a glimpse of what can happen when human pressure suddenly disappears. And on a planet without us, that effect would happen everywhere. Steel is strong, but steel needs us more than we realize. Without regular painting, inspection, and maintenance, exposed steel structures would slowly corrode. The Eiffel Tower wouldn't collapse overnight, but over decades and centuries, corrosion and structural damage would take their toll. Dams face an even bigger problem. They're built to last for generations, but they depend on inspections, repairs, and controlled water management. Without people, small problems could become major failures. And eventually, even massive concrete structures would begin to break down. Stone lasts much longer. Mount Rushmore, carved into solid granite, could remain recognizable for thousands of years. One of the last fingerprints of humanity, watching over a landscape that once contained roads, buildings, and millions of people.
By the 500-year mark, much of the world we built would be almost unrecognizable. Wooden structures would be long gone. Many buildings would have collapsed. Brick and concrete would be scattered across the ground, gradually covered by soil, grass, and trees. New York, London, Tokyo, once among the world's greatest cities, now transformed into forests, wetlands, and hills. Beneath the roots, subway tunnels, foundations, roads, and other pieces of infrastructure could remain, buried like ancient ruins. Rivers that were once forced into concrete channels could return to more natural paths. Coastlines would change. Forests would expand. Wildlife would spread. The Earth isn't erasing our mistakes. It's simply moving forward without us.
Here's the twist. Some things we've built could outlast almost everything else. Thousands of human-made objects are currently orbiting Earth. Many would eventually fall back into the atmosphere, but some objects in higher orbits could remain there for centuries or even longer. And then there are the Voyagers. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 carry golden records containing sounds, images, and greetings from Earth. They're already traveling through interstellar space. Long after humanity is gone, long after cities have disappeared, those tiny spacecraft could continue drifting through the galaxy for millions of years. Not because they were designed to survive forever, but because space is enormous and incredibly empty. And here on Earth, some objects made from bronze, gold, stone, and other durable materials could survive long after our buildings are gone. Not skyscrapers, not highways, not machines. Just fragments. Quiet reminders that we were here. 10,000 years from now, a forest could stand exactly where you're sitting right now. The roads could be gone. The buildings could be gone. The cities could be gone. But the planet? The planet would still be here. And in many places, ecosystems would have had thousands of years to develop without human pressure. This isn't really a story about extinction. It's a story about balance. A reminder of just how much space we occupy, how much energy we consume, and how much life is waiting beneath the surface of the world we've built. So the next time you walk past a crack in the sidewalk and see a tiny weed pushing its way through, remember, nature isn't waiting for permission. It's just waiting for time.